Alright, welcome everybody. Let's go ahead and do this, see how quick we can get through it. Okay. Gotta have the second chance. Really, all of that optional. Like buff corn and keep it going would be nice, but we gotta stay alive. Welcome all. Hey, Aiden, how's it going? Gonna be a lot of that for the next hour. Okay, and now... That's right, it switched over to Cosmic Tech or Skill. So I probably will end up dropping Carl before too long. I guess Fury buffs? Nothing's being suppressed, Retin. I just have a policy of deleting questions that have nothing to do with the champion when those questions are asked on the spotlight videos. I try and keep things focused on those. Oop, wrong one. Okay, cool. Didn't take it. I'm also going to decline to answer, not because it's not okay to ask, but just I truly do not know if that's public and confirmed. I believe so, Magnus. What do I want to play with? Yeah, we'll do scroll a bit. It's not Saga restricted. We can use whoever we want. Keep that in mind. Welcome, Nick. I didn't catch all of the stream. Did they say Heimdall was going to be in the pool? Okay, shouldn't have done that, but that's alright. That's fine. Imperios is a good shout. I wouldn't mind doing that. I mean, that puts me at 3 cosmics, and so I'll probably have to swap one out. But yeah, that's a good shout to play around. Okay, if Heimdall's confirmed, I think, yeah, that's pretty much set. Welcome, Bart. Whoop. Cool, that did it. Thank you. Nice, Maya. That sounds. We did not. Hey, Jason, how's it going, my friend? I'll go ahead and swap in Imperiosa. I don't think we're gonna miss scroll knocking on wood for that one. Here's hoping we see keep it going right after this. Obviously, no. Yeah, that's alright. Yeah. Skippy designed M'Baku. Definitely fair now. Star-Lord was Deroche, who I think Yelena was their most recent before this. Nice part. That's funny, it was fun. Yeah, that weakness is going to be annoying for them. Yeah, it's just... Yeah, it's gonna sting. Wasn't I supposed to get a power gain buff that, like, stuck around? What is going on here? That was my... Okay, what are the exact terms of that hack? Okay, it is supposed to come back. 12 seconds is, I guess, longer than it feels like. Imperios is great, but not an Incursions champ. You're just finding you're not ramping worth it, I suppose. That power sting will be a bit annoying. Yeah, something is wrong with that power gain hack. Y'all saw the timer expire and no power gain happen, right? Making a note. Don't know if I'll get to it, but... What sense? Wait, what am I doing? It's these classes, right? That could work. Gotcha. So it's not that you feel like the kit can't work in Incursions, it's just not lining up well with any current hacks. Is that fair? Afternoon steam. Imperiosa should play really well with Keep It Going, though, because it'll double the potency of the corrosions. Maybe I'll hold on to her until I can get that up, see how that feels. That could be fun. Button neck. This guy. Yeah, I understand you. I mean, I think I don't personally draw the bar at a Koya hemostatic charge. I understand you're saying, like, getting through the absolute fastest, but that feels like the kind of thing that... I don't know. I don't know if that one's going to stick around forever, because it's incredibly silly. It's a tough line to walk before anybody panics about me saying we're removing it, because that's not what I'm saying. It's just like Incursions should be where things go nuts, but you want a lot of different things to all go nuts and be rewarding and to not trivialize each other, and that's a design puzzle that is not really worth agonizing with them or agonizing over right now with the mode in the state that it's in. Someday. Someday, absolutely. But not right now. Strange is a cool shout. I'm glad that worked. Obviously, Serpent would be more straight ahead, but I want to play with Yondu. Whoops. Nah, Mojo and Incursions is super fun. I'm with you there. Yeah, that's very related to what I'm saying, Aiden. Like, we want there to be silly stuff, but if there's silly stuff, we also, like, because silly things are so vulnerable to having the fun optimized out of them, that's the kind of thing that you should be careful of when designing for it. Anywho. Yeah, that's fine. That's also fine, but let's get a science champ in here. Right, skill is the other one. That's fine. We'll get somebody else in before too long. Welcome, mister. Take care, Nick. Man, load. There we go. Combat Deja Vu and Incursions, the weakness one specifically, is so annoying. Oops, I'm gonna get stunned. Ouch. There we go. That was the kind of hit we wanted. That was my fault. There we go. Yeah, Mojo's been one of my favorites for a long time. It's nice seeing him get his flowers. This freaking guy. I feel like there's a non-zero chance I take a special 3 in this fight. No, no! Oh, that's gonna cost. Yep, there it is. I did not mean to hit the freaking special button! Or striker button. Jason and I have talked about this. Hey, I'm doing alright. Life is weird, but I personally am doing well. Hope you are as well. Somebody needs to tell this guy it's okay to throw specials. It's so annoying because I wasn't going for the special button. I was just trying to get out of the way. And I'm on an iPad where you have a lot of real estate, but the striker button is in the freaking way these days. Okay. I get to pick whatever I want, so we're doing... I think we're doing buff corn, as fun as keep it going is. It was, yeah. I wasn't really part of any of those discussions. I wasn't in the planning for the Stellar Forged. I am not assigned to any of them to design. Spoiler alert. Um, so I don't know exactly where that discussion went. I know I've seen people mention it, though. I think we do want to be a little careful how many, like, color treatments we burn through. Because there's only going to be so many that are distinct from each other, and that may have been part of the reason not to do it. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, I will take immunity to reverse controls, thank you. I've done that before. I hope so. The fastest version through this is that my Elgato card, which is what I'm currently using, was having some serious stuttering problems for a while, and so I tried the app that Sim uses, but apparently my what I thought was pretty robust Wi-Fi is not enough for that to run smoothly, and so I gave up on that when the free trial ran out, and I'm now back to my Elgato card, but I am making a point of unplugging it and leaving it unplugged in between every stream. Hopefully that works. I'm not looking forward to her throwing a special 3 because of... oh, it's just buffet overtime. It's not... That's okay. Buffet overtime is not, power snack. That's what I was concerned about originally. That's okay. We're gonna do basically no damage for a little bit, and then we're gonna do a lot of damage. Differently than it will a month and change from now, Duke. So that's kind of hard to answer. I'm assuming you mean post change, in which case the answer is that it will still scale with armor, which means that they'll be very strong at low rarity and will fall off a little bit relative to other dots as she goes higher, excuse me. But Alfie's trying to troll me today. But there has now also been a significant amount of attack rating added into the calculation as well. So it will scale much better into higher rarities than it used to. So both armor and attack matter. I missed Valk. She's fun. I'm not really involved in event or reward design. I am often privy to the discussions and have definitely offered my feedback before. I don't know, honestly, and if I did, I probably couldn't tell you about Classic She-Hulk. She's an interesting case where she has fans and she's good enough, right, because of things like Colosseum, while also still not having the kind of like quality of life things I did in Deathless She-Hulk in exchange for a lower ceiling, which makes her just a lot tougher to use for a lot of people. And so her appeal is limited, which puts her in a weird place, right? Because if we just put her in the base pool, a lot of people would consider her a bad pull. Some people would be willing to spend a lot of money for her, but some people would never spend money for her. And then even the people who want to spend money for her generally don't, what's the word? Generally don't want to pull her twice, which is just all around odd. Whoops. Whoa, terrible time for the root. Nice crit. Hey, Snoozy, how's it going? If you're just throwing the heavy immediately after the evade, Kalu, that's not a bug. That's a spacing error. Just close the distance before you throw the heavy. Nah, I don't think Carolina really gets much from crit chance. Yeah, I hear you there, Jason. Doesn't always work out that. No, we're talking about classic She-Hulk, Aiden. She does, Stalingrad. Like, you have to get really, really long. Um, but classic She-Hulk, because of the arcane old way in which she was coded, can technically get to, I think it's 396 Furies. They're not a single effect with different sources. And that's just because tech wasn't as good then. And so in very, very, very long fights, she actually has a much, much, much higher ceiling. Because the traumas on Deathless She-Hulk are also tuned around being smaller at first and then get larger. Yeah. I mean, I think if we updated classic She-Hulk today, we'd probably port a lot of the things over, including like there's no reason for her to have that weird arcane ceiling, right? Especially because it's not really attainable. Um, Getting to the full 396 requires you to proc 99 Furies from being struck, which is just not going to happen. And it's really unclear on her HUD, like which ones are from the special one, where they're stronger, versus which ones are just normal. Yeah, Elijah is correct. That is the reason why Maker Stun allows you to have 2 hits so that you can dash in. But yeah, there's also the fact that Deathless She-Hulk is using all physical damage, and so she is more subject to physical resistance than Classic, because when Classic crits, her whole hit benefits from the fact that crits ignore armor and resistance, whereas Deathless does not have that. She's relying on first the hit landing and then the red damage landing. And so there, in some ways it's better because it gets around caps and that kind of thing. In some ways it's worse because it's subject to more interaction. Like, which one is better really depends on the fight you're looking at. But yes, Classic She-Hulk does definitely have a higher ceiling. I personally would like to update her, like I said, with a number of the things that we tried on Death of She-Hulk and that I generally think were successes. Um, I think MSD would complain about some of those things. I think that might not matter if the character is better for most people, but I don't know. We'll have that discussion someday. But it works against everyone else. Have you literally tried every single champion in the game, or do you just mean it usually works? Even if the former, cool, happy accident, but it's not a bug. You have the tools to get around it. Thanks, Stagey. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm also looking forward to Incursions with Blue Marvel. That'll be fun. He'll be really, really good with Tide of Combat. If I remember correctly, that one also triggers the Furies on debuffs expiring due to max stacks, and so that means that Blue Marvel's weaknesses will expire due to max stacks, as will his Provoke debuff all the time, and that's just a lot of extra Furies. Plus, Incursions gives you ways to apply more debuffs. Okay, there's keep it going. I'll take that. Whoops. Didn't mean to throw those into block, but that works. Yeah, I mean, that was something we knew when we shipped Deathless, right? That, yes, Deathless or the classic She-Hulk's utility was broader. And probably better in the game as a whole, but we also felt pretty strongly that Deathless She-Hulk's utility was more relevant to the modern game, and so we were okay with that. But those kinds of discussions are usually the mark of something having gone right. That is so much unstoppable. Or I guess not. That one's rooted. Yeah, that's fine. Perfectly timed that special one to avoid the unstoppable. Go me. Do you think in a vacuum I'd choose a counter to unstoppable and evade over miss and unblockable? Yeah, sometimes you need one, sometimes the other, absolutely. You're allowed to ask it, but I'm not going to answer. Like, that's the kind of thing that I wouldn't be the one announcing it, right? So that's a very complicated question, Duke. I do have a members-only video on this. I will plug once. But I think there's kind of two things. It's not that the class wheel is like an absolute law on what things can and cannot be done. But where you deviate from the class wheel, it should have a purpose, and you should be thinking about what it will do to that class and the class on either side of it going forward. And some deviations are worse than others. I do think, for what it's worth, that both Null and Crossbones, from a class balance perspective, were mistakes. Right? Crossbones is old enough that he gets like a half pass, because his kit and his identity was formed before we had really codified what the class wheel meant. And I don't mean the advantages. People often misunderstand me when I say this. Like, yes, the order of class advantages has been around for a long time. But there is a point we can point to, and we don't make it public, so I'm not going to tell you. But there is a single champion that was like, this character shipped after we had codified the class wheel, and you can see some pretty clear differences in the before and after. Yeah, and then Null I know was more recent, so I can't really speak to that one, but yeah, I think that was a mistake. Because neither Zola nor Onslaught are immune to reverse controls. That's kind of the long and the short answer. They have the Psychic Shielding tag. That is not the same. Oops, his true accuracy means yep. Alright, that was stupid. Special 2 should still be okay. Don't normally throw Valkyrie's special to intentionally not into block, but... Gotta heal. I thought that worked differently. There we go. No problem, dude. Ouch. Okay. I went a little cross-eyed there for a second. Of course that hurt. I know this is gonna sound glib, Stalingrad, but no, that's not how I would put it. Like, it wasn't a choice to make it not by psionic manipulation, right? Obviously, she does reverse controls psychically. It's Jean Grey. But psychic shielding is not immunity to reverse controls. And I did not make the choice to allow that very strong class of champions to completely ignore it. Like, part of it was to protect her defensive targets, yes. Part of it was also to preserve the class identity of her defensive targets, because psychic shielding isn't really concentrated in tech. And part of it is because I am a little bit tired of people confusing that tag for immunity, and I wanted there to be a visible example of the fact that it isn't. Which I know not everybody's going to be a fan of. What do you mean no Jean Grey is a mutant? Being a mutant doesn't mean she can't be psionic. She is literally a scion. Cool, that's gonna sting. There we go. Why doesn't Onslaught have immunity to reverse controls? Because the design team decided that psychic shielding made more sense for him than immunity to reverse controls. I'm not saying they don't, though. That's you're drawing lines that aren't there. Jean Grey is psionic and telepathic. They aren't really different. But psychic shielding is not immunity to reverse controls. And so I had the choice of whether I wanted Jean Grey to be subject to psychic shielding. And I gave psychic shielding a different benefit. But not that one. Okay, a lot of these are incredibly gross. That'll be okay, though. Cool. No, I didn't evade. What is going on with the controls over here? I understand the distinction you're making, 2200. Totally fine in Marvel Comics. Completely useless in a fighting game. And like that's nothing against you. I that's totally fine for you to make that distinction. But in a game where being able to read someone's thoughts doesn't provide a mechanical advantage unless we say it does, that's not really going to be how we do it, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's similar, Elijah. Like, it's bluntly, psychic shielding in Emma was a mistake, thinking back. The same way that Emma having psychic hits was a mistake, because that confused a lot of people as well. Because they're like, oh, well, psychic hits bypass miss. No, they don't. That's just something that's built into Ghost. And then people were like, well, that's just, okay, psychic characters are supposed to bypass miss, and that's how we got Neuroshock turns off miss, and that's why Onslaught is stronger than he needs to be. Like, we just... It's a long history of dominoes, but it really just goes to, like, this is why I am skeptical when people say that things need to be a certain way in game design because of the lore of the game. because the lore is convoluted and weird and not conducive to good game design. So we do our best to be informed and inspired by it, but not always beholden to it. Thanks, Blizzard. I'm glad you liked it. I guess I'm throwing special ones in this fight. Ouch. That was my fault entirely. Right, heavy. Dang it. I hate fighting Scarlet Witch so much. Ask somebody who's never heard of Scarlet Witch before what the strongest defensive power drain in the game is and what class it lives on. I don't think they would come up with a Mystic. Just saw somebody saying that Apocalypse should be tech because he steals King's tech in ancient Egypt. There's definitely an argument for Apocalypse to be tech, right? Like, he's one of those characters that probably could have gone either way. But I think it's also incredibly fair to say that Apocalypse is so tied to the mutant storyline and very obviously has an X gene. So I don't think it was a mistake at all for us to make him mutant. Sometimes snoozy, but like... that's kind of what I mean, right? You can't make the game design decisions based on the lore. Because... reverse controls immunity is a difficult place to start in this conversation, but think about bleed immunity. If you stab the Hulk, does he bleed? Does Hyperion bleed? Does almost anyone in this game with actual superpowers bleed? Obviously, we can't make all of them bleed immune, right? We have to pick and choose so that bleed immunity has meaning. And so that's why Hulk can be bled. Hyperion can be bled. It's why some characters who arguably shouldn't be able to be poisoned can be, right? It's why some people who you definitely could not hurt with a flamethrower are not immune to incinerate because we allow for stronger incinerates than that. If we tried to go by the lore, then Science and Cosmic would probably just be immune to literally everything, and every single skill and Mystic character would be a glass cannon. And that's not a good game. So we take inspiration from the lore, like I said, but we intentionally deviate from it. And so if we can do that for things like it is possible to make the Hulk bleed with a normal character because ISO 8 blah 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 blah, then we can do the same thing with psychic powers, right? Some psychics are immune to reverse controls. Some are not. There are I mean, the thing is, it's not even us ignoring the lore. It's just us not trying to create a hard rule from it. Because if you look at the lore, there are tons of places in the comics where Jean invades Emma's mind, or vice versa, where characters fight psychically and somebody wins. And so I don't think that it is really out of the realm of possibility that Jean Grey, the telepath, can mess with the mind of somebody who happens to have psychic powers. Hey, work, how's it going? I think Green Goblin being tech is not the least defensible one. He's very clearly using tech. No, the worst one for me is Yellow Jacket being science. Why? What powers did he get from his body changing due to some scientific effect on it? Ant-Man you can kind of like wink sideways because sometimes in the comics he does have powers separate from the suit, but that one's pretty egregious too since it's pretty clearly MCU Ant-Man. Like Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket are inarguably tech. I think literally every other character where the people disagree with their class, I think it's debatable. Yeah, and SYC definitely touches on an important point. Lore gets retconned, so if you try and follow it too strictly, you're probably just hurting yourself in other ways. I think APOC is the one and only champ, but there's a real argument he could be in any of the 6. Science is a little harder for me to buy, Aiden, but I do get where you're coming from on the other 5. Nice, Elijah. Angela's very fun. Hey, this. Imagine Centuries lore. Yeah, that's... like, Blue Marvel in the comics kind of just says no to things, right? Can't make a good game with that. That was dumb. That's gonna hurt. I shouldn't have done that. I'm always bad at maintaining the inverted combo. Particles are tech made from science. Yeah, but that's true of literally every tech character. Which is why that's not what defines the science class. No, science characters are defined as something about them. Their bodies, their powers has changed. Yeah, Domino you can definitely make arguments for. I agree with that. I certainly hope so, Elijah. Because we haven't even gotten to that part of Glitch Incursions yet, and that is definitely one of my disagreements with it. And this is coming from somebody who basically has every Incursions node that exists memorized. It's still so many nodes. Yes, you could absolutely make that argument with Scream. I think it's weaker with Scream than it is with Anti-Venom, but I know what you mean. Yeah, the Deadpool one I'm not going to claim to be an authority on, but I know that Kabam asked Marvel about it, and Marvel said yes, he counts as having an X gene, and so that's why we're here. Who am I to second guess them? Stellar Forge Scream. There's also, to be perfectly honest, a chance that Marvel just disagrees with me and says, no, she's definitely cosmic. I don't know. Cool, these seem okay. Now, I promise this stream is not going to become a rant about glitch incursions. They're doing the best they can. But this right here, the fact that I have to deal with all of these nodes, and I don't get anything for it in my power fantasy. The fact that for this basically super boss room, I don't get another hack is the thing that gets most under my skin. You're going to make me jump through hoops repeatedly. Then after each hoop, give me a little gold star. I was arguing about this the other day, 2200. People were not a fan of him. Yeah. Kingpin is not just a regular human. Now, I'm not arguing comics lore. I'll let you higher ranking nerds go about on that, but like that is a mountain, not a man. He doesn't just eat a lot of eggs. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Aiden. Like, it's when we interact with Marvel, it's as close to an official answer as anyone can get, but it's still one person at Marvel giving us the up or down. They probably talk to a few other people. I don't know their exact process. I'm not saying it's literally one person, but the call is communicated to us by one person. That person has changed over time, and it's probably informed by their impression of where writers are at the time, which also can clearly change. It would bug me so much if the other symbiotes are science while Scream is cosmic. My guess is they wouldn't be. Oh, I have so many ideas, Blizzard, but a lot of them would require someone assigning an engineer to me and saying, do what he says. Because I can't do them on my own. It's so annoying that Shuri can block cosmic unblockables. Hey, I got the first three. Okay, that's stunning. We'll be a little more careful now. Thank you for the super chat, Storm. I appreciate you. I haven't had a hot dog in a while. Maybe I need to go try... I think there's a decent Japanese hot dog place not too far from me. Thinking out loud with my stomach here. That's a crit. Yeah. Like, I generally enjoy the stuff overall, Walrus, but for me, it's like, if I'm allowed to be this powerful, why can't I at least get common hacks for these last 5 rooms? Like, it's not even a balancing thing. It's just like, give me my dopamine. If we run these back, hopefully that changes, because that is definitely my biggest issue with them at the moment. Power of money. No. Yeah, Kingpin has the power of money and great genetics, wink wink. One might almost say, mutated genetics. Like, that's the thing. This is a universe where there are people like Batman, right? Like, Night Thrasher is out there with gadgets and punches. He's rich. There's a lot of rich people in comics who are stronger than anybody actually could be, who are more durable than people actually could be. But, like, kind of believably. And then there's Wilson frickin' Fisk. You can't tell me he's on the same level. If Nebula is tech, then Beta Ray Bill should be too. You definitely can argue that. I think the best counter argument is simply that so much of Beta Ray Bill's power comes from the hammer, rather than his own physiology or technology, and that the hammer itself is a cosmic artifact that's pulling from the Odin force, right? That would be how I would justify it anyway. Because I'll admit there's a certain amount of it that is me feeling like Bill should be cosmic, but that's my pitch for the mechanics. Please die. Thank you. Yeah, Toxin pretty much has to be cosmic, right? That's Carnage's offspring, right? Thanks, Super. It is a lot. Family man with a great will to live. It's just one or a few injections. It doesn't count. Yeah, that's what Norman Osborn keeps telling himself. It's totally fine. I know. I know. I still don't really get why Jane is Mystic. I like the diversity. But it's never really made sense to me. I think really what we're going over here, though, is that there's just... Whew, you mind? Thank you. For a lot of characters, there really are a lot of things that they could be. Many Marvel characters are complex and could feasibly be 2, 3, or 4 different classes. And we do the best with what we're given. Engaging in KP slander. If that's what this qualifies as, I ain't backing down. Nah, I think Sinister as tech is a harder sell. Like, I understand what you're saying. I think Sinister could definitely be science. But tech is a much harder sell for me. One of Carnage's kids, and also supposedly a symbiote prodigy, which is why Venom. Yeah. Which also, like, let's just acknowledge the degree to which symbiote lore is just a bunch of authors one-upping each other with their OCs. It's fun, but let's be honest about what's happening. Allfather Ultron would be cosmic? I mean, based on that name, sounds like it. I feel like if you got the Odin Force, you're probably cosmic. Yeah, exactly, Aiden. We do literally just have to make the call. Okay. That's fine. That looks pretty annoying. Can I take this with Yondu? Yeah, I think I could take that with Yondu. Let's not do that. I can take that with Serpent. I can take that with Serpent. Cool. Bucky could absolutely be science. I've talked about this elsewhere at more length, Super, but the short version is that our current AI system is very dumb, and very simple, and that's why we're building a new one. Yeah, Neos Null is a good example of said OCing. He only changes immunities back to stun immune every 24 seconds, but somehow it is always right after I apply a stun. Props to Cates for admitting that, but so many comics writers just wouldn't say it out loud. Will the new AI come out before GTA 6? Ooh, how much faith in GTA 6's release schedule do I have? That's a good question. That's gonna hurt. Yep, would have killed me. Thank you, Yondu. All right. Nah, Venom and Venom Pool being Cosmics with Nullify just mean they're old. White Tigers was an intentional choice. I don't know enough about Spawn to answer that, honestly. Hence my earlier comment about not being a high enough level nerd. Which also makes me think that there's a good chance that somebody else in the studio would call dibs on Spawn. From the very limited amount I know, though, Mystic sounds reasonable. Oh, right, Tranquility. I hate Tranquility. No, I know. Take the power sting. There it is. Didn't really give me a way out of it. Oh god, are we gonna time out? We might. How is the power sting that big? Him baiting specials is lining up with the power sting in the worst way over and over and over again. We still haven't triggered Last Chance. This is going okay. Oh, right, it's Healer Hide. It's not Arc Overload. I can be a lot more intelligent about this. I completely forgot. See, it's almost like there's too many nodes on these fights. Healer Hide triggering right before Tranquility was very mean. Oh! Thought we'd throw that special 2 just before we got to 2 bars of power. Alright. Alright, we'll heal on the next one. That's a deep one, Iron Spider. Fun fact, there's actually an onboarding video on the Kabam internal wiki that is me explaining ability accuracy to another one of our designers for about 45 minutes when they first joined the team. Problem is, there's no way in heck we could make that public facing, and I don't know if I would be able to explain it adequately without that. But it's a good question. Hulk a mutant. Yeah, that one's that's a tough sell. Yeah, I have talked about it a lot in specifics 2200. I forget if I've done a video directly on ability accuracy, because it's... Let's go with thorny. So I understand the question. Oops, another power sting. Yeah, I was like, we're definitely triggering the unstoppable this time. No! I hate it when they come at you right as those timers are about to expire. Alright, that'll do. You know, I thought it would. The power of money and some injections, and he can punch down with Thor's uncle. Obligatory ISO 8, but yes, I like the joke. No, defenders are not coded to make things happen at the worst time for you. The current AI is so dumb, we literally can't. When I was first making Absorbing Man, this is the example I like to use. I tried to build in a like little AI bias so that if he hit you with his heavy attack, he would cancel it into a special if he had it, and I failed. Now, since then, I think we technically have tools that can do that. Don't worry, we're not really using them. But like the point is the tools that interact with the AI's biases and decision making can't accomplish something like that at all. The only way to do something like that is to like reach in, take control of the actual function and press the button for them, right? Um yeah. So they're not looking for like your buff to expire and then they throw it, or a debuff to expire on them and then they throw it. Like that's God knows it feels that way. But that is not the case. That seems fine. Also seems fine. I think we can just do this. Yeah, that'll be good. We can play around Mixmaster with Yondu. I didn't say I'm defending the idea now, Super. I'm just telling you I had it and it didn't work. Perception and intelligence, but not luck. That's a good compliment. Are you complaining about buffs, Ham? None of the ones that we talked about on stream are in February, though. Yeah, we don't have any current plans, at least, to teach it to combo into specials. Nor would I... Like, I have enough power there, I think I can pretty safely say that's not going to happen. Sorcerer, thank you. Don't think I'm getting to special 2 in this fight, but that's okay. Ooh. I don't mind being wrong. We're okay, Ham, but I appreciate the concern. I don't know. You're worried about the champion design team's cap. No, I'm gonna stop there. But these are not the problem. I did 2 of them, and these were not the problem. Neuro did most of them. There was a reason he was on the stream. But I did a couple. and I had fun. Hey, Floyd. Actually, you know what? There is one thing I can say. If you're concerned about the champion design team being too stressed from things like these buffs, convince the player base that nerfs are normal, and we will instantly feel better. That I can. Oh. And yes, they are done, Elijah. Honestly, one of the reasons that we didn't announce things about this pool earlier was because we didn't want to commit to a buff and have to walk it back.
That would have stunk.
Back up, sir. Hey, Pablo, how's it going? There is a base pool of 6, and then 6 super duper, and then there's newly released champions. But the newly released champions are generally going to be a bit harder to acquire. I think we've talked about this already. Lizard's Ascensions are sourced through the Titan until it rotates, but that's an exception. Paviters were provided via the double track, but for the most part, new champions, if you want the Ascension materials, you have to get them from the pre-release bundles, is the way that currently works. The new ones are not going into the base pool, at least not yet. That is a very it depends question, Amon. Kushala's good without the dupe. Whether she makes sense to spend resources on for your account without it is a difficult question. Yeah, with you there, Ham. Yes, base pool of 5 per class. That is 30. Thanks, Iron. I appreciate that. Do I like the way Mystic Dispersion affects Mystic development and Mystic character development, or do I think it's more manageable now? I mean, I think it's more manageable now because I don't think that we should stop ourselves from interacting with it if it is becoming a problem. But apparently, that means that I kick babies or something. I don't know. I don't read Reddit comments. No, sorry. Valiant Grace counts. I misspoke, Aiden. Calamante. But, like, I think it is literally that first release. I don't know if rerun crystals, like, a month later, will have it. That's not saying they won't. That's saying I don't know. The only source that I'm confident of is the first run of the crystals, including the pre-release bundles, which we sometimes abbreviate internally to pre-release bundles. Sorry for the confusion. You might need to rephrase your question, Dilly. Pulling the champion does not mean that you get the ascension materials necessarily. Like we just talked about, that's a sourcing thing. If you get the ascension token for the champion, it will for sure come, at least anything that we've planned thus far, it will come with a copy of the champion. So, like, the exact details and tuning, I don't think we're allowed to talk about, but, like, if you open the Ascension base pool and you pull Mojo, it will come with a copy of 7-star Mojo, an Ascension token for Mojo specifically, and a Mystic Ascension token, which doesn't matter now, but will matter later, basically. Yeah, there's some other stuff going on there I don't think I can say just yet, Aiden, but, like, yeah, we're aware of that kind of concern. Cool, this all seems fine. I'm going to worry about the specifics later, but yeah, I can take that. Nice, Osman. Or, oh, yes. I get what you mean. I don't think that exactly was said, Elijah, but I'm not sure enough was said for me to feel comfortably correcting you. Did not mean to use the special, too. That's okay. There we go. I suggested Aunt May's tool to calculate the stats resorting man. I'd like to know if the challenge rating for all 7-star rank 4 champions is the same. Yes. For a given rank, rarity, and ascension challenge rating is held constant. Yeah, Misty is correct, Dilly. Like 7-star and Titan Star shards contribute to Ascension in the super duper pool, but not directly. Hey, Zemo. Of course we did. Alright, I'll see y'all in a little bit. Good luck, clown. Is there a way to calculate or find challenger rating? Yeah, it's on info pages. I'm pretty sure. I'll look in a minute. No. You're misunderstanding. One second. Yep, there it is. So this part, this percentage, these percentages are based on facing a 4-star rank 5 champion or a challenge rating 100, which is why they are all wrong. But up here, it says challenge rating 230. And so that tells you that a 4-star rank 50, or a 7-star rank 4 champion is always challenge rating 230 pending ascension. So from that, you can then go into Aunt May's stat calc and use that to figure out more exact numbers. Well, now you have seen. That's funny. No. It's there are a lot of numbers in the game, Aiden. Don't kick yourself for not having seen one of them. Yeah, I would definitely like for that to be in-game, Shinmei. I agree with you. Whoop! My bad. Alright, well, now we've tested that. I'm sure it's possible. Just need to get better at it. Yeah, one of my favorite ones, Aiden, was somebody came to me and was like, "Why did you tune Serpent with?" I forget what they said it was, but it's like 15% in block pen or something. I was like, I definitely didn't. And then I realized what they were looking at. Which, I get it. You have to scroll all the way to the bottom and read the small text that isn't bold, and that's just not something that you can expect to happen all that often, but it is an unfortunate glaring weakness of us displaying that information at the moment. Oh god. We need to be careful with Tranquility, because that would be an excellent way to lose health to beat the buzzer, if we're not careful. It's deja vu again, right? Yeah. That'll be good. Stupid. On my fault. Oof. Jerk. Alright. I would certainly prefer that, Pablo. I don't know the original one. You're not stupid, just clueless. Yeah, what Aiden said. You need to get this spell up before they become unblockable. I'm so glad I don't have to do this again. Fine, fine, fine. Fine. Also fine. 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 Nope. No, we're definitely down to build champions based on movies, and we used to do it more. Um, it's honestly just a function of like how easy it is to work with Marvel at the time and how far ahead we are relative to that, because we've had to move our pipelines further and further ahead to make sure things work well, and that's made it harder to plan for movies because it means Marvel has to tell us stuff earlier. And you know, I fully understand. Sorry, understand. I combine the words. I understand why they might not want to do that. There have also been a few times in the past where we have intentionally made a character for a movie, and then the movie has moved. Which, you know, I also get. It's gonna happen. But it ain't fun. Alright, bro, thank you. I don't know what you mean. Like, we are literally under contract with Marvel. Because we're using their IP, but I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Yeah, each unique blessing does. So all of them increase your chance to place ignition buffs. But only the first one of each. That is correct, Aiden. There was a very long run where we had champions on the roadmap that you can see if you look, if you go in back and look, it is very obvious where we were aiming to release things for movies that then moved.
And that's Marvel's prerogative.
It's not the easiest thing in the world to interact with. You said that last time, Jinmei. I'm not sure exactly. Oh, that hurts. That stinks. What you're going for there? Like, yes, Yondu whistles. Alright, I ran into the power sting there. There goes my second chance. Ooh, no, I didn't. That was dumb. That was dumb. Alright, that's okay. No, I think you're just wrong about that, Jinmei. There's no air horn.
Wow.
Oh, that was dumb again. Doing this. I've been in here and for too long. Aggression regen. Plus oscillate. So rude. Alright, back to full. Ah, that's gonna sting. Okay. I'm so sick of this freaking fight. Alright, I'm gonna use Yondu. I'll bring Serpent back on Cassie. Or something. I don't really care. That wasn't even necessary. I didn't need to hit her. I'm just so tired and hungry at this point. Some battlecasts are unhealthy as 7-star or as 6 stars, let alone 7s. Well, if it's after Serpent Special 3, then it's probably not an air horn. I don't know what you want me to do about that, Chinmay, is kind of where I'm coming from. Yeah, like, maybe he's just hearing his yell, but, like, there are no ships outside my suburb. Excuse me. Accidentally knocked the Elgato off. I talk with my hands. Alright, hopefully it comes back. Cool. Hey, cat. I might come back for something else, but I can feel a headache coming on. I need to do something, anything else. That's what I get for half paying attention. That's the first time I've been hit by that special one while trying in God knows how long. I need a break. Hmm. Nah. That wasn't a freeze. That was me talking with my hands and knocking something off. I don't know who would be saying that, Stalingrad. I think I said I wanted to. It's not the same thing. Nothing is locked that far out. It would not at all surprise me with the way our community plays telephone if me saying that I wanted to do something turned into people saying that I had definitely confirmed I was doing it. Yeah, I think they give a special 3. Thanks, buddy. We'll see what happens. If I'm not on Doom, it's probably because there's something else I'm excited about. Whichever. Ah. That sounds good. I'm probably gonna go make... I don't know what I'm gonna make. We might do ravioli tonight. Nope, not that one. Okay, still need to grab Rhino. Cool, cool. There was part of me that was very worried that I didn't actually have all the pieces. Ugh. But that'll do. Thanks, Cyber. Good luck. Ooh, Jollof sounds good. Okay, yeah, y'all are making me hungry. I'm gonna go do that. But thank you for hanging out, everybody. Good discussions as usual. And I will see you soon. Take care, everybody.